So as Pittsburgh continues to cope with that tragic synagogue massacre, we're also following another deadly shooting, this time in Florida, where a gunman opened fire at a yoga studio in Tallahassee last night. The man killed 2 people and injured 5 more before turning the gun on himself. CNN's Diane Gallagher has been following this for us. So first off, Diane, I understand the people at the studio, the yoga studio, did try to fight back as best they could.
They did try to fight back as best they could. Unfortunately, that led to 6 people being shot, another person being pistol whipped, and 2 of those people have died. The victims are 21-year-old Mara Binkley and 61-year-old Nancy Van Vessem. According to the president of Florida State University, both of them connected to FSU. Nancy, a faculty member, Mara, a student. They were basically practicing hot yoga there at this Tallahassee studio when police say that 40-year-old Scott Beerley came in and opened fire. They say that, again, shot 6 people, pistol whipped another person before police believe he then turned the gun on himself. Now, the FBI, local and state authorities are working on this, but at this point, they do not know the connection between Beerley and that yoga studio. After the shooting happened, Fred, Andrew Gillum, who is the mayor of Tallahassee, is also running to be governor on the Democratic ticket, and Rick Scott, who is the current governor of Florida and is a Republican candidate for Senate. Both of them went back to Tallahassee. The 2 of them in sort of a bipartisan effort. This is a city they both live in. Went to the hospital. They visited the victims. Andrew Gillum spoke, the mayor, a little bit afterward, telling some of the media who was outside. They saw the people in the hospital. One person had been shot 9 times.
Wow.
Another woman had a bullet that went all the way through her. They praised law enforcement. They were there within 3 minutes of getting that phone call. But at this point, detectives, they've got to piece together why this man went into this studio and decided to open fire.
There's been a lot going on in Florida this year, and the candidates who are running for the offices that you mentioned, gubernatorial, congressional office, they are mindful of that as well, and the sensitivities that come with that with the voting public. This coming on the heels of, a shooting in Jacksonville and then a deadly shooting, of course, at Parkland. Is there a consensus of how the electorate, is responding to these candidates saying, at least let's take a pause for today?
Yes. Unfortunately, if you look online, no, of course, because it's sort of a cesspool of anger. But at least in the way that these candidates have been presenting themselves in this period afterward, hey, we just need to get back. We have duties right now. We are a governor and a mayor, and we have to attend to that, even though we're running for other offices. We want to focus on these victims. I will say that Gillum said something that I think all of us feel, which is these occurrences have become far too frequent, not just in Florida, but around the country. I cover these all the time, and it's the same refrain, just a different place. These people were just inside of a yoga studio practicing yoga. Those kids were just inside of a school trying to learn. The people in Kentucky were just inside of a grocery store trying to buy school supplies. I mean, people in Pittsburgh were just inside of a synagogue trying to worship. And so they have talked about the fact that something's got to happen. But look, Rick Scott and Andrew Gillum may be working together on this, but they are on very different ends when it does come to the gun control debate, which, of course, has not been as much on the forefront as it was, say, 6 months ago after Parkland, when those students kind of had the whole country talking and debating about that.
Except perhaps this latest shooting also might, bring it to the forefront. It might be, again, top of mind for so many as they cast their ballots.
Exactly.
All right, Diane Gallagher, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, coming up,